Hi everybody, it's LaRonda and I'm back with another video, and I want to say I have not been on a date probably I think in about 2 weeks, and I'm thinking I need to change up my strategy for finding dates and sort of not just depending so much on the dating apps and maybe finding some other ways to find dates. So the other day I was kind of thinking like maybe I should challenge myself to start approaching, like, if it doesn't happen very often, but like if it ever does, if I see somebody that I'm interested in and they're not wearing a ring on their finger, to kind of like force myself to go up to the person and maybe start a conversation. Now, where that conversation will lead or what I'll even go up to them and talk about, I don't know. But I think maybe it would be a good idea to change the strategy, because obviously the online dating thing, whereas it may be fine and dandy in some areas and it may be working for some people very well, but for me it hasn't been working. Like, it's not getting me the numbers that I want and that I feel that I need in order to get to the point where I'm, finding the person that I'm really interested in and that really excites me. Like, I'm finding a lot of people that are just kind of like okay, or they're fine to spend a little bit of time with, but like nobody is really like getting my everything tingling and getting my loins flared up or whatever. Nothing is really exciting me. So maybe if I start doing a different approach, maybe that'll help. So let's see. So the challenge is for me to try to start, if I see somebody that's interesting and that they appear to be alone or whatever, just to go over to them and start talking and see how that leads me. If I can get enough courage to do that, because that's going to be the thing. I'm good with like sending someone a message, like maybe somebody that I know and that I've seen around or whatever, and if I have their email address or their phone number, sending them a text. Like, that's a little more easy. I have time to think about what I'm going to say and all that. But actually walking up to a person and trying to think of something to say, like at the spur of the moment, like, because it's like you have a split second to decide to do something. And if you're in a situation where that person could easily walk away, or they are maybe with friends and maybe they were by themselves for a second, but the friend comes back, you don't have a whole lot of time to really think and decide what you're going to say. So I need to have some things like thought of already in my head, sort of gathered up, that I can use in situations like this. I was also thinking about maybe like getting some business cards or something like that I can just, if I'm talking to somebody, maybe like in an elevator, or, if they start up a conversation with me or I start up one with them, having something available that I can pass to that person. And business cards tend to be less harmful, because the person may not automatically be thinking that you're coming on to them. So, you don't have to lose as much face if they're not interested in you, because they may just think that you're, just talking to them for business purposes or whatever, which could be good or bad. But it's easier to pass somebody a business card than it is, in my mind. It's easier for me to pass them a business card and say, hey, I work in the building, or, I work over at so-and-so. Like, if I see somebody at lunchtime, for example, I work in so-and-so building, here's my card, if you'd like to keep in contact, something like that. It seems kind of innocent, and it doesn't seem like so much of a come on, like if I go up to somebody and say, well, hey, like, if I start talking to them about vegetables in the grocery store or whatever, and then I ask them for their phone number, that might be a little awkward. But if I have something to hand them, they can either use it or not, and I will know, like, if they don't call me, they weren't interested, but at least I tried and I put it out there. So I think I'm going to try that. I may like do some Vistaprint stuff and maybe just, do not necessarily for my work, but like for my side businesses, make myself some business cards and kind of put that information on it and see if I can hand those out like in a pinch. So let me work on that and I'll let you guys know how that's going. But hopefully, in the meantime, I'll get some other dates as well from the other methods that I've been using. So let's see. But anyway, I really do appreciate you guys for watching. Thank you so much. And I hope everyone is having good dates and enjoying your lives out there. And I will see you in the next video. Happy dating. Bye, everybody.